Hello everyone, welcome to another online math lesson. Our lesson for today is about applying linear equations in real life. This activity will enable you to solve problems involving linear functions by solving the following steps. Now you own a newly born German Shepherd. Suppose the dog weighs 1 kilogram at birth. You've known from your friend that the monthly average weight gained by the dog is 5 kilograms. If the rate of increase of the dog's weight every month is constant, determine the equation that will describe the dog's weight. Predict the dog's weight after 5 months using mathematical equation and graphical representation. Now, how do we create an equation to solve the problem? First, we need to determine the independent variables and the dependent variables. So what is our independent variable here? Correct. It should be the months on the growth of the dog, while the dependent variable will be the weight of the dog each month. Now, since we already determined the independent and dependent variables, now we can proceed to making a table of values. We're in here in our domain, the months, and then our range will be the weight. So it says here in the first statement that the dog weighs 1 kilogram at birth. So at 0 months, the dog already weighs 1 kilogram. And then the average monthly weight gained by the dog is 5 kilogram. Therefore, on its first month, all we need to do is to add 5 kilograms from its initial weight. So that is 1 plus 5, that is 6. And in the second month, another 5 kilograms gained, so that is 11. Next, in the third month, another 5 kilograms becomes 16. And then another 5 and another 5. So there you go. Our table of values is already complete. Now from here, we can now create an equation because we already have a visual on our problem. Now, how do we create an equation for this set of values? First, let us write the relation between our dependent variables and independent variables. So say we have an initial equation as y equals to x. This will be our initial equation. Now let's try to use this initial equation and go ahead substitute the first value here. So if x is 0, then let's substitute it here. Y is equal to 0. So this equation will not satisfy, our initial equation will not satisfy the first value because when x is 0, the value here should be 1. So what do you think should we do? Okay, let's try to add 1 here. Now let's go ahead and try to substitute the first value. When x is 0, let's substitute 0 here. So there we have 0 plus 1 equals to 1. We get the correct equation for our first set of values. Let's go ahead and check if this equation will be true for this set of values. So when our x is equal to 1, so let's substitute 1 here. 1 plus 1 equals 2. So this equation is not applicable on our second set of values. Though it is applicable on the first, but it's not applicable on the second, I think it will not be applicable also on the preceding values. So what should we do here? Now we need a number. Either we add it in our equation, or we multiply it in our equation in such a way that it will um, be true to all of the values here. Now how? Let's try to subtract or find the difference between the values in our range here. So let's try to subtract 26 by 21. 26 minus 21, we have 5. 21 minus 16, that is 5. 16 minus 11, that is 5. 11 minus 6, that is 5. 6 minus 1, that is 5. Now, based on this result, our table of values is a linear function. Linear function because on the first difference on our range here, we get a common difference value, which is 5. Now, the 5 here, this is what we call the slope of our function. That is the slope of our function, or the rate of change in our function. Now, based on our previous lessons on linear function, we have the formula or the equation y is equal to mx plus b, right? Wherein m, the numerical coefficient of our variable, is the slope, and b will be the y-intercept. So if this is the linear equation of a function, now what's lacking here in our initial equation? We have our slope here as 1, but based on the table of function, as we solve for the slope here is 5. So let's try inserting our slope to our initial equation. Slope is the numerical coefficient of our variable. So let's just add the slope here in our equation. There. So we have now y is equal to 5x plus 1. We all know that 1 here is the y-intercept, and y-intercept, that's the time when the value of x equals to 0, right? So this one here will be our y-intercept. The time when x is equal to 0, this is the time when the graph passes through our y-axis. So let's try to substitute the values here in our table, see if this will uh, equate to the values of our y. So for example here, let's start with 0. When x is equal to 0, so we have 5 times 0 is equal to 0 plus 1 equals to 1. We get the correct set of values here. How about on the second one? When x is equal to 1, that's 1 times 5, 5 plus 1, that is equal to 6. Correct. When x is equal to 2, so you have 2 times 5, 10 plus 1, 11. Next, when x is equal to 3, 3 times 5, that's 15, plus 1, 16. When x is equal to 4, so you have 4 times 5, 20, plus 1, 21. And when x is equal to 5, 5 times 5, that's 25, plus 1, 26. Therefore, this is our equation based on our table of values. So again, first, we need to find the difference on our range by subtracting each term by its preceding term. And if we get the same difference, it only means that our table of values is a function, linear function to be exact. The difference on the range will be the change of our y, which is the slope. Okay? Now, another problem here. How do we transform this one? Because this one is in its slope-intercept form, right? This equation is on its slope-intercept form. Now, how do we transform this slope-intercept form equation into the standard form ax plus by plus c equals to 0? Now, let's try to transform this one into the standard form. Let's write it here first. Y is equal to 5x plus 1. Now, if you notice here in our standard form, all the variables here are on the same side of the equation, and it equates everything to 0. Compare here in our slope-intercept, the y variable is on the other side, while the rest is on the other side. Now, the first step here is we need to transpose 5x and 1 to the left side to have the same format as our standard form. Now, how do we do that? It's either we use the shortcut method, which is the transposing method, transposing everything to the other side of the equation, and then change the sign of each term. Or, this time we use the additive inverse. So since 5x is positive, we'll add a negative 5x here. Since 1 is positive, let's add a negative 1 here. And what we do on the other side will also be doing in the other side of the equation. So let's add another negative 5x here and a negative 1. Then all we need to do is to add everything. Positive 5x and negative 5x will cancel out. That is equal to 0. Positive 1 and negative 1 cancels out because that's equate to 0. Let's just bring down the equal sign first here. So this one here, everything equates to 0. So what's left here in the left side, negative 5x does not have the same term with the rest of the terms here. So let's just bring down negative 5x. Same as our y here. Does not have any similar term to combine with. So let's just bring down positive 1. Then, same as our constant, negative 1. Let's just bring it down here. So as you can see here, it's the same format as our standard form. But we need to make our first term here a positive term. So all we need to do is to multiply everything by negative 1. So we have here negative 1 times positive 5x, negative 5x, that becomes positive 5x. Negative 1 times positive y, that makes negative y. Negative 1 and negative 1 equals to positive 1. Then negative 1 times 0, of course, still equals to 0. Now this is the standard form of our equation. Now let's try to have another word problem. Jolly Donuts charges 18 pesos each for a special donut, plus a fixed charge of 5 pesos for the box, which can hold as many as 24 donuts. Now, how many donuts would be in a box priced at 221 pesos? Write a rule that best describes the problem and draw its graph. In your graph, assume that only 1 to 24 donuts are sold. Now again, in order to solve this one, we need to determine the independent and the dependent variables. Now, based on the problem here, our independent variable will be, correct, the number of donuts sold, right? This is the OU, right? So I'll just make it donuts. Next, the dependent variable here will be, of course, the price of each donuts sold. Now, after having this one, all we need to do is to create a table of values there. Now, based on this statement, one donut costs us 18 pesos with an additional charge 5 pesos for the box. Therefore, if we buy one donut, it will cost us 18 plus 5, that would be 23, right? Now, for the next donut, so that is 2 times 18 for each donut, plus the box, that would give us 41. If we buy 3 donuts, that would be 18 times 3 plus 5, that would give us 59. And so on if we buy 4, 5, and 6. Now this will be our table of values now. So from here, we can now then create an equation for our problem, right? Because we already have a visual on the problem. So let's go ahead and create our equation. Again, for us to create an equation, we need to write an initial equation first. Y is equal to x. There. Now let's try to substitute one value here of x. See if we could, how do you call this one? See if we could get the value of y. So when x is 1, y is equal to 1. But here, y is equal to 23. Right? So again, what's the next step? Check first if our table of values is a linear function. How? By subtracting our range, each value of our range to its preceding term. So let's start here. 113 minus 95, that is 18. 95 minus 77, that is 18. 77 minus 59, that is also 18. 59 minus 41, that is also 18. 41 minus 23, that is also 18. Now again, the difference in our range, since we have the first difference here, first common difference here, it means that our table of values is a linear function. And since the value here is 18, therefore we have our slope. Now let's go ahead and insert our slope to our initial equation. Now this becomes y equals, slope is the numerical coefficient of our first term. There. So let's try and substitute the values of x to our equation. So when x is equal to 1, that would be 1 times 18, y is equal to 18, but here y is equal to 23. So we still lack something. Now, going back to our problem, it says there that it has an additional 5 pesos for each box. 18 is the cost for one donut only. So let's try and add the price for the box. This is a fixed value, a constant value. That's why it's called a constant, right? Now this one here will be our y-intercept. So this only means that at 0 donuts, it can cost you 5 pesos, right? this is the value of the box only without donuts. So this must be our y-intercept. Now let's try and substitute the next value here. Okay, because when you buy 0 donuts, you're only buying the box, and then we substitute 0 here, so you have 0 times 18, that is 0, plus 5, so your y is equal to 5, right? Now let's try to substitute when you buy 1 donut. So we have 1 times 18, 18 plus 5 gives you 23. Next, when you buy 2 donuts, you have 2 times 18, that is 36, plus 5, 41. And if we substitute everything here, it will equate to the values of y. Therefore, this one will be the equation to our problem. This is on its slope intercept form. Now let's go ahead and transform this one into the standard form. How do we transform this one into the standard form? Ax plus by plus c equals 0. Again, let's write our equation here. Y is equal to 18x plus 5. So again, all we need to do is to transfer everything here on the left side of the equation, then equate everything to 0. So again, we'll use the additive inverse. So since 18 is positive, let's add a negative 18x here. Since 5 is positive, let's add a negative 5 here. And also, let's add a negative 18x and a negative 5 here on the other side of the equation. Then let's go ahead and add 18 positive and negative, this will cancel out, this becomes 0. Positive 5 and negative 5 will cancel out also, this becomes 0. Let's bring down the equal sign. So everything here on the right side is equal to 0. Here, negative 18x does not have any similar term, so let's go ahead and bring it down. Same as our y variable, so we have positive y minus 5. And then again, we need to make our first term positive, so let's go ahead and multiply everything by negative 1. So you have negative 1 and negative 18 gives you positive 18x. Positive y and negative 1, that is negative y. Negative 1 and negative 5, this becomes positive 5. 0 times negative 1 is equal to 0. This will be the standard form of our equation. I hope you learned something today, and see you in my next online lesson.